start recording. Cool. Okay, so again, to work in this our agile way, we're going to create a new board. I just click create new board. I'm going to give it a title, and I'm going to call this a production agile demo. But you can have a team name here. You can have all these cool different images and icons. I'm just going to go for orange because I like orange. And click create board, and it's going to create something like that. At its most basic level, we can think of Scrum as kind of a to-do list for a group of people, or Agile as a to-do list for a group of people. We're going to add in a couple of things to this. So we can add another list here, and we're going to call this project backlog. And I'm going to just drag that over here. It just kind of mimics like working on paper that you can move stuff around really easily, and you're creating things as cards. Project backlog is basically like all the ideas you have for a project. Okay, so this is where you might put in. So I can click add card, and I can maybe be like, flying enemies. Okay, and maybe explosive projectiles. Okay, does that make sense? I write those in. They're like basically in the scheme of the project. There are things I want to do. Is that okay? Yeah, that makes sense. So what I'm going to do here is I can actually add people to this. So there's this invite button here, invite to board. So I'm going to put in Liam's email address. gmail.com. Cool. And that's going to send an invite to Liam, and then he's going to be able to join the board. Okay, so what I might have here is like Liam might add stuff to the board in a second. Once he's added to it, he can add a card for something he thinks would be something cool for the game to have. And we should see that update. Are you trying something now? Cool. Oh, cool. Perfect.
You have to go to your email, whatever email you have to accept it before you can get to the board.
Oh yeah, you'll get it in your email. Sometimes it might come up in the notification button there, but you'll get an email anyway, so just follow the link to join up. So for this project, I'm going to add in a couple more cards, and this one of these is going to be create Unity 2D project. Okay, and I can click on this, and I can add members to the card. So I can add myself to this. Okay, this is going to be my job. Okay, you can see there, Liam has created something called like Wandering AI. Does that make sense? We're able to add all these things. Yeah. So I'm going to say for this week, I definitely need to create this Unity 2D project. Does that make sense? So I can just drag it and drop it into there, and that's the first thing on my to-do list. I'm going to add another card. Let's say create player, maybe modify player sprite, and then I'm going to do one called create enemy. Okay, so create player, I'm going to assign that to me. I'm going to do modify player sprite, and I'm going to change members on that. I'm going to set that to be for Liam to do. And then create enemy, I'm going to set that to for me to do. Is that okay? Does that make sense? Okay, and we're going to show a workflow here in this task. We're going to complete all of these tasks. So I'm going to create the project, create a player, then Liam's going to be able to modify the player sprite, and then I'm going to create an enemy. Okay? This is basically going to be my workflow. Now these are all stuff I still want to do on the project, but like I'm not getting them done in this week, or like we're basically breaking the sprint into like being a really super micro sprint. It's going to be like half an hour or something like that. But in this half hour, I'm only going to create a project, create a player, Liam's going to add a sprite, and I'm going to create an enemy. Does that make sense? That's what I'm basically saying. I'm going to do that in the next half hour. Okay, so you can do that. Use which? Playground? No, you're free. If you have experience with other aspects of Unity, you can use those as well. So I am now going to go and I'm going to start creating the 2D project. Okay, so what do you think I should do now here inside Trello? Yeah, exactly. The reason we do this, and this isn't too important right now, but the reason to do this is that if we're working together, and let's say I'm doing like level design on the scene, it's important that Liam knows I'm doing that so that he doesn't end up editing or changing the scene while I'm changing it, and then we'll have what's called like a conflict where we're both trying to change the same thing, and Unity won't know what we're trying to do. Does that make sense? So just being really clear, hey, here's the thing I'm working on right now. It helps with communication. It's like I know what that person on the project is doing. Okay, so I am then going to go to Unity Hub. Do I have to create the team first? No, I think I created the project and then I added it to my organization.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to here inside Unity Hub, I'm going to create a new project, Unity 2D, and I'm going to call this production demo. This is going to create the project. So I'm just going to skip the new version of Unity. Make sure it's on Inspector. Okay, so here's my Unity project at the minute, and this is basically like this is going to be what I call like my first commit, but the first part of the project that like I'm saving, and then Liam's going to be able to download the project based on this. Okay. One thing that is important is to make sure when you're working with someone else, and you'll see this is going to cause a couple of minor errors that won't really break anything, but that just get in the way. But the Unity version, I'm on 2019.1.3 F1. Okay, Liam, you're on. Do you know?
2.1, the one above, basically.
Yeah. So these are like the next version of Unity. So it's going to come up with like just a couple of minor errors that won't actually affect the project, but we'll just get annoying. Basically, every time we open a project, we're going to be changing the project, so it's going to be a little bit annoying. So try and make sure whoever you're working with, you make sure you're always on the same Unity version. Is that okay? Cool. So what I'm going to go here is go into click on Help and Unity Services. Do you all have Unity accounts at this stage? Yeah. Cool. So when you come here, you might need to log in here. I'm already logged in, so I can click on. Oh, that's not what I want to click. I can get back there from there, but I'm going to click on Organizations. Okay, and let me just delete this organization. Can I? No. Okay, I'm not going to worry about that for now. Okay, I'm going to create a new organization, and I'm going to call this production team or something like that. Okay, so you might come up with a team name, like a studio name for yourselves, whatever it might be. You get to select industry here. I'm going to select education and click create. Okay, so then I can click on this production team and I can add people to it. So under members and groups here, I can click see all, and I can click here add members, and this is basically going to allow myself and Liam to work together. And I'm going to put Liam's email address in here. And I'm going to give him the role of manager so that he can manage the project and change things and save things on it. I'm going to click next and click invite members here. Okay, so that now has like Liam basically part of the project, and you can see what's going on with it. So if I come back to Unity now, what I want to do is go Window, General and Services. And here inside create a Unity project ID, it says select organization. I selected production team, which is the group I set up earlier. And I'm going to click create. Okay, and this is going to create a project for our team. Basically. Does that make sense? So we might be a studio, we might be like Ubisoft, and we'll have like a Assassin's Creed project, and we're going to have all these different projects within our team. Okay, Ghost Recon project, whatever it might be. Down here inside Collaborate, this is kind of what we need over here. It says create together seamlessly, and we're going to click on that. We're going to hit this blue button, and that's going to enable Collaborate on our Unity project. And you'll see it's going to do a few things here, like just adding in a couple of things so that we can collaborate. Okay, and it's going to add this new button area up here that wasn't there before. It's got a blue arrow on it at the minute. The blue arrow basically means I've made changes on my version of the project that aren't on the cloud yet. They're not on the server, so Liam won't be able to see the changes like that. Does that make sense? Blue means, hey, take a look at this, you know, what you've done here, and then list your stuff you have to do and say, whatever. So I just add a message here, created Unity 2D project. And I hit publish now. Did I hit that? And you're going to see it's going to transfer and upload the files basically to the web, and then it gives me a text to say that stuff. Okay? Everyone okay with that? Cool. So what do you think the next thing I need to do here?
Move the Unity 2D project.
Yeah, so I head back to Trello, which is here. And basically I've done this, I've created this Unity 2D project. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is say I'm going to create the player. So I'm going to give that to myself as a card. And I'm just going to create game object, 2D object sprite. Over here in the inspector, I'm going to just give this a... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. For the sprite, I'm going to give it a... let's just make our player be this like check down arrow. Okay. And I'm going to scale that up, let's say 50. Yeah, isn't that great? That's a lovely pixelation on our players. And this is maybe why we want Liam to be able to change it. Is that okay? So I'm going to just call this player. I'm going to create a folder here in my Unity project called prefabs. Cool. And I'm going to drag the player game object into the prefabs folder. And you'll see then the player turns blue, which makes it into prefab. You all worked with prefabs last time? Yeah. Especially when you're working on a group, working with prefabs means that someone can change the player without affecting the scene, basically, because prefabs basically have their own scene, so it makes it much easier to work with stuff. That used to be slightly more difficult to do in the past. Okay. So I'm gonna just do it. Have I everything done there for creating the player? Yeah. Fair enough, I've created a sprite. So created player game object. It's gonna ask me if I want to save. I'm gonna save the scene. Go. And upload. Okay, so that's me up to date. Is that working for you?
Yeah, it's down.
Cool.
Just for downloading the Unity Hub, make sure whoever's like downloading the project, go to Unity Hub, and it will have you'll have to reset it. So make sure you reset it, added it already, and it will have a little cloud icon beside the project. You click that, add it to a local folder, and download it there.
Yeah, at the top of Unity Hub, you should see the name of the project. I think, and then over on the right hand side, there's a little cloud icon. So now basically we're up to date. I've created a player object. I'm going to come back here and create player. I've done that. So then I'm going to move here. I'm going to say I'm doing creating the enemy, and Liam will probably move the modified player sprite into there as well. Okay, so we're almost complete with like this really, really tiny spread, or this demo spread, basically, where we're just showing how this would work. Okay. Cool. Is that okay? So we're able to work together, we're able to see it basically allows really good communication because we both really know now what's happening on the project. I know while I'm creating this enemy, Liam is going to be modifying the player sprite. Okay, so I am going to just duplicate the player. Going to move them to a different position. I'm going to change their sprite to be a circle. I'm going to set the color to be red. I'm going to scale it down a bit maybe. Okay, so this is going to be my enemy. And because it's my enemy, I'm going to drag it in here to prefabs. And I'm going to create this as an original prefab. It's not going to derive from the player prefab because I want this to be a separate thing, basically. If these were like enemy variations or something like that you wanted to share some of the history of the previous game, that was all. Cool. So if I click here on Collab, you're going to see, actually, I'm going to save the scene as well. So now if I click the Collab button, it basically just shows me here everything that's changed. There's this little plus icon here, which means I've added enemy.prefab, and then it has this little, it's like a pen or something, that shows that I've edited this sample scene.unity. Is that okay? Does that make sense what's going on here? Cool. How are you getting on there? Cool. So I'm just going to wait before I push that. I just want to see, you're going to see basically what happens when Liam updates the sprite, and then it's going to change what's going on my screen. Okay, cool. So you see at the moment I have this blue arrow that says I've got changes locally that aren't up on the cloud. Okay, so that's the way that like Unity Collab is basically telling me I'm ahead of what's on the cloud, so I've got like extra information. Is that pushed or yeah?
It's 33.
Okay, cool. So because again we're working like this is all saved on a cloud somewhere on Unity servers, it basically just takes a couple of minutes or like a couple of seconds to upload stuff. Can people see what's happened there? With the Collab icon?
Oh, it's on search.
Yeah, so basically this is just, it's got like an arrow pointing downwards instead of an arrow pointing upwards, which means there are changes on the Unity server that aren't reflected in my project. So basically something has changed. So it will make me download these changes before I can push my own changes, before I can put my changes on the server. Does that make sense? Okay, I need to make sure that like by putting this into my project, it doesn't break everything before I can actually put it on the server. So here I click the Collab icon, and it says here, this is like the number here just means the number to push, but it tells me push number 4, Liam Community modified player sprite. Does that make sense? It kind of gives me a message as to what's happened on the project. So I can hit update now. It's going to download this, so it's going to update with Liam's changes. Import a couple of things. Because we're on different versions of Unity, I am going to get a couple of errors here. They're not a major issue, they're just annoying more than anything else. Okay. So I can hit reload. Sure. So folks, does that kind of show you how it works? Like basically now what I've got is, I've got the most up-to-date project. I've got this updated sprite. I've also added the enemy prefab. So now I'm just going to save my scene, and then I'm going to, that's just warning me about us being on different Unity versions. I'm just going to say added enemy to game, and I'm going to hit publish now. Okay, hopefully when we go back, Liam will have like clarified that he's completed his task, and we'll see that we've completed basically all the tasks we had to do in this sprite. Okay, but this is telling me basically I'm up to date. Next time Liam pulls, he's going to have the exact same project and scenes as I have there. So then I'm going to come here, and yeah, the only task left to complete is this one I've just gotten done, which is here. Okay, does that make sense? So hopefully that's a nice like introductory overview. One thing that I would normally suggest doing is to name this like a review, and to add a list here like called maybe week 1 complete. Okay, the reason for this is basically that instead of saying this is done because I've said it's done, that like at the end of the week or at some point in the week we meet up and we like look through all this and say, is it good enough? Are we happy with it to say it's done, or do we have to go back and do some more work on it? Does that make sense? But let's say we're all pretty happy, or let's say like I'm pretty happy with my 2D project with my player and with the editing upgraded, but I'm really unhappy as a team with the sprite. So again, this becomes something that has to be modified here. So it goes back into the to-do list for this sprite. Does that make sense? So in the next sprite, basically, we go and we make sure we change that. Yeah.
And you have like a little note to that for that the other person know, like.
Well, hopefully you should be doing this like in a meeting, so you should actually be discussing it. But you absolutely can. You can add I could add like a comment here. Let's say, I'm not sure our client Basil Lim will like this. Okay, does that make sense, folks? What we're doing there? And like Liam can now respond to this, and like we can have this discussion here on this. Now look, a lot of your discussions will tend to happen inside Discord. Folks, a lot of your discussion might end up happening in Discord or something like that, or like you might have a messenger group or whatever. Maybe you use Snapchat to organize your project. But basically, this is a way to just keep track of the work. And maybe I say, look, actually, you're right. It's the right thing to do. It's complete. Okay, so we have that conversation. Does that make sense, folks?
Yeah.
That's basically workflow. That workflow it will change and evolve. Like we'll go more in depth about some of the stuff we're doing there, and some more of the tracking and details as you move through the course. But this is the very basics of getting you set up with production, working together in a group, resolving those issues, and having a workflow that really helps you get work done. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions on it? Cool. I'm gonna turn off OBS.